What's up, people? In this video, we're going to talk about why I believe in karma. There was a specific experience that happened to me, something that happened to me when I was younger, when I was like 17 years old, that made me believe in karma. So we're going to talk about that right now. Here we go. If you like, I think what I'll start doing, I'm going to start shilling my Patreon at the beginning of every video. So if you like my videos, if you like me, if you want to support me, go over to my Patreon page. Give me 10 bucks a month, give me 33 cents a day, hook a brother up. Allow me to live the dream and continue producing this amazingly high quality edited content for you every single day. Super sexy videos with my beautiful face, lovely voice, and the amazing ambient sounds of your average Vietnamese vacation town on the beach. Anyway, here we go. Why do I believe in karma? I'm going to break it down for you right now. So when I believe I was 16-ish, 17 years old, was in high school, and was not, like, I wanted to join the Marines, right? I've mentioned this in many videos. My plan since I was, 10 years old was to join the Marine Corps when I was old enough, really, after high school. I had no desire to go to college. However, being a minor and, when you're that age, you don't really have the guts, or at least I didn't, to really go against my parents so openly, right? I was an only child, and I wasn't really, I don't know, I just didn't have the guts to do it. Like, I had to live with these people. No offense, like, mom, dad, I didn't watch my videos, but, like, I had to live with them, and in the interest of, like, keeping things smooth, I preferred to not, or have as few open conflicts with them as possible. So things like taking the SATs, like, okay, fine. I'm not going to say, no, I'm not going to take the SATs because I want to join the Marines. Like, okay, I'll go take the fucking SATs. Like, who cares, really? It's like, I don't know, I didn't see it was that big of a deal. So anyway, I go take the SATs. And for those of you who are, like, too far removed from the school system, don't remember what you did with the SATs or, like, how it was or whatever. Basically, when I did it, what happened was we would go to school on a Saturday, and we would take the tests all day, basically. And it was like a 6-hour thing, taking those tests. You know, the SATs, it's like, I don't know how it is now, but when I did it, it was, whatever, 7 or 8 tests, standardized, like your little Scantron paper, and 45 minutes for a test, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it was. So that's what we did, right? Now, for the SATs, at the time, basically what we had to do is we had to sign up on the spot, right? So I think we were like registered, but we had to actually pay on the spot and, like, write our names down, and, like, I don't know if we had to bring ID or something, but the point is that we had to pay. Okay, and this will be interesting. There's a reason I'm mentioning this specifically. We'll come back to that in a second. So at the time, in this, like, phase of my upbringing, high school career, whatever, I had friends that were, like, I don't want to say they were bad kids, but they were definitely worse than what I was used to hanging out with. I mean, they were great friends of mine, like, hold a very dear place in my heart, but they smoked a lot of weed. They sold, like, whatever they get their hands on, and they get in fights, and, like, I don't want to say, like, I didn't really belong in that friend group, because I think we were able to somehow connect on a more, like, intelligent level, I guess. I'm not really sure. Anyway, whatever. The point is that we would, it's so funny, or nostalgic at least, like, we'd call each other to see, like, if we want to hang out. Like, what's up, man? You want to post? That was like our thing. Let's post, and then it was let's post, like, let's hang out. Like, let's post means like a post, like a lamp post. Like a lamp post doesn't go anywhere; it stays in the same place. So if we're like, you want to post, it was like, do you want to chill? Do you want to exist in the same place? Really, I never actually thought about this or explained what that meant to anybody, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, so it was like, do you want to post, or what's up? Like, trying to post today or what? That was number one. Number two, our activity of choice was getting tore, right? Like, what's up, man? You want to post? I'm trying to get tore, right? Like, tore means, like, tore up, like torn, really. Tore, though, is what we'd say, T-O-R-E. And that means, like, really just, like, get fucked up, smoke weed, take some pills, drink 40s, whatever, like, whatever dumb shit we did back then. So at the SATs, right, and it was on a Saturday, I was friends with all these guys anyway, and we're all there, and basically on this Saturday, we all decided that we were going to hang out, and we were going to take ecstasy, right? That was, like, our thing that we were going to do. And I had gotten in trouble with my parents for something. I don't remember what it was, but I was grounded technically, and, like, I was only allowed to leave my house to go take the SATs. And I was still a pretty good kid, despite the fact that I was hanging out with these other guys, and they didn't give a shit what their parents said, and like their parents were very lax and like didn't care they smoked weed, didn't care they did drugs. Kids will be kids, kind of thing. My parents definitely cared, right? I had to hide that shit. I had to fucking. I evolved a criminal mind at a very young age from hiding things from my parents, right? I'm sure many of you can relate, or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of a question in my mind as to whether or not I was going to hang out with them that night and if we were going to get tore, right? Because like I'd taken ecstasy a few times at that point, and I really liked it. It was probably my favorite drug at that point, and I really wanted to do it. And of course, I liked hanging out with my friends, but I was grounded already, so it was kind of like, do I actually want to do this? Maybe, maybe not. And beyond that, I felt like a little bit of the sniffles coming on, a little bit sick, right? So that said, and this will all become important later, I promise. There's a reason I'm talking about all this like extraneous like stuff that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the actual story. So we go like to sign up, before the test. Basically, there's these folding tables set up, a couple like SAT proctors, right? They're like writing down names, basically doing the whole intake thing, right? And I go to approach the intake table, and I think they actually called your names alphabetically, right? Or whatever it was. I don't know. Anyway, I get to the table, and I'm going to write my name down or whatever, and I think you had to pay cash to sign up. It was $100, right? So I'm at the table, and there's this girl next to me. I knew this girl. We weren't like friends, but like I knew who she was. She knew who I was. Friends kind of with the same people. And she had like her notebook or whatever, and she had basically her pretend this is the table, right? You have the table here, the notebook here, and then her hand was like on top of the notebook, and in between, let's rotate my invisible table this way. In between the notebook, the table, and her hand was $100 bill, right? So I just to be cheeky, right? I like leaned over and I took the $100 bill and snatched it out of her hand as a joke. Completely 100% as a joke. I'm not actually intending to steal $100 from this girl. And I did it, and I looked at her to like expectantly to drop the punchline and have her be like, "Give me that back," and like she didn't notice at all. Did not notice. Was in her own world. I don't know what she was fucking thinking, but like did not pay attention or something. Didn't realize that I just literally like took a $100 bill out of her hands. And I looked at the proctors. None of them noticed either. And I like looked around. It was like in Seinfeld where they're watching a surgery or something and they're eating junior mints, and something happens. They try to catch a junior mint in their mouth, and they end up dropping the junior mints into the guy's like open body as they're doing surgery on him. And they like look around to see if anybody notices. Nobody notices, so they don't say anything, right? So that was kind of what happened with me, right? Like I snatched this $100 bill, and nobody noticed. So I was like, oh, well, I'm not gonna fucking say. I'm not gonna be like, here, I took this from you. At the time, I was not the upstanding citizen that I am now. Whatever. Not that I am now, but I'm not gonna like steal $100 out of somebody's hand. I don't think. Maybe if I was presented with the opportunity, I might. I knew I'd get away with it. Whatever. Anyway, the point is that I did it. Really, I actually did it, and I kind of like pocketed the money quietly, signed up for my SATs, and kind of like slunk out, into the darkness. And I had this one friend, crazy, like nuts. This guy, like he actually had no boundaries. Would say the most outrageous shit. He would get in fights with people. He was just known for being actually insane, to the point where you almost like the first couple times hanging out with him was so fun. You crack up, like laugh hysterically the entire time. It's like a riot hanging out with this guy. But then you hang out with him again and again and again, and before you know it, he's like stealing from you and like borrowing money from you and not paying you back and like causing a problem. You're like, okay, like I need a break from this guy. I can't actually hang out with him. But at the time, hadn't hung out with him for a while, and he liked to get tore. This guy, I kind of want to say his name, but I don't want to blow him up. But this guy he would roll. Roll is like taking ecstasy, right? He would roll every weekend, take like 8 pills, and his thing was like every time he took a pill, or every time he rolled, he would throw up, right? Some people throw up, I don't know why, but this guy would throw up every single time. Anyway, he was there, and we went to junior high together and high school, so I knew him a little bit better than these other guys. Anyway, I told him, I was like, listen, bro, like I just swiped $100 from this chick. I wasn't going to come hang out with you guys tonight, but tonight I just decided I'm going to, right? It's like, I thought it was like a sign from God that like he allowed me to steal this $100. So I was going to spend it on drugs that night and buy a bunch of pills and fucking weed and just really like just treat the homeboys to whatever, contribute in my own small way. He's like, that's amazing, bro. I can't wait, right? So take the SATs. I did pretty well in the SATs. I think I got like 1,300 or 1,250 or something. Whatever. I didn't really care. And I saw later, it was funny, like I saw this girl later, like maybe 20 minutes later, 15 minutes later, and she was crying, right? And like I saw her friends like consoling her, and I kind of like looked at her to see if obviously she was crying because she lost the money, right? She thought she lost the money. If you're out there, I want to say her name. I'm not going to, but I don't know, whatever, who cares? She took the test eventually, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I think she got into a good college. I'm sure I didn't ruin her life stealing $100 from her. Anyway, I started crying. Who cares? Whatever. Took the test, took the SATs, and then I called my parents, right? And I was like, I don't know what possessed me. I was just like, I saw this opportunity. I saw this really stroke of luck as I saw it as an opportunity, right? I was like, for whatever reason, this actually turned into a $100 net gain for me. So I'm going to do things that I normally wouldn't do. And I called my parents. I was like, listen, I know you grounded me. I just took the SATs. I'm not coming home. I'm going to hang out with my friends tonight. I'm spending the night at their house. And I'll call you tomorrow when I'm going to come home, right? And they were so mad. They were spitting mad. They're like, no, don't you do it. Don't you dare. We're going to ground you so much. You're going to be grounded for a month after this, like threatening me. I was like, do whatever you got to do. Like, I am not coming home. I'm staying out tonight. I never did stuff like this. Never. I was a good little son, really. Like, I was like, I mean, fine, I did bad stuff, but I obeyed when I was instructed to obey. I did what I did with permission or with them being ignorant of what I was actually doing. I would never, like, virtually unheard of that I would, like, actually so blatantly disobey them. But today I didn't really care, or that day I did not care at all. So anyway, we go to hang out at my friend's house and his friend's house. We had like a little crew of like little hooligans, right? And we went to this one kid's house who had a girlfriend, right? Now this one guy, let's call him I don't know, Jackson, right? Making up these names for my friends. Anyway, let's call him Jackson. Jackson was part of the jiu-jitsu crew in the old neighborhood. And the jiu-jitsu crew in this like suburban white neighborhood where kids have no problems was like the violent hooligans of the neighborhood, right? Had something to prove. They'd all do jiu-jitsu and like get in fights on the weekend and just be like little assholes in general. And this guy, Jackson in particular, I don't know how my main friend, let's say, not the one I went to junior high with, another one. I gotta think of names for these people so we can like differentiate. But anyway, my main friend somehow befriended this guy Jackson, and they became like very good friends. And he kind of brought Jackson into the crew, right? And this kid, like, number one, he knew how to fight, which is automatically like elevated you to like higher status in the crew, right? He knew how to fight. I never heard of him losing a fight. And he was, I don't say he's prone to violence, but because he knew how to fight and he knew he could beat most people in fights, he would fight people all the time, really, without really giving a shit. He's like kind of a dangerous kid, right? Anyway, whatever. The point is that his girlfriend had some kind of arrangement with her parents where she had like a guest house that she would live in connected to her parents' property. And the plan for the night was to go and take all these pills in her guest house, right? They were together, and it was kind of like a place away from everything where we could go and, you know, take our pills, smoke our weed, listen to music, and really just kind of, you know, roll without really having to worry about anything bad happening. So, I haven't made this video yet, but the first time I did ecstasy, it affected me profoundly, right? Like really, I was very good at kind of maintaining control of myself when I did drugs. Ecstasy was the one exception where I just kind of did crazy shit that I would never do if I was sober, really, actually. I'll tell the story of the first time I did ecstasy, not now, because that's a whole nother like fucking occasion. But anyway, the point is that we're all basically sitting. It's me, this kid Jackson, my friend from, you know, junior high, the crazy guy, right? And the main friend of the crew. It's like the leader of the crew. Let's call him I don't know, fucking Scooby, whatever. Just call him Scooby, right? So Scooby, it's me, Scooby, Jackson, and my crazy friend, right? and the violent kid's like girlfriend, Jackson's girlfriend, right? So we're all sitting there, we're chilling, right? Pills are starting to come on, and whatever, we're smoking weed, just like enjoying ourselves, and I started to like lose my mind a little bit, right? And I'm kind of building this story up. It's not really the most interesting story, actually, now that I think about it. But the point is that over the course of the night, I lost my filter completely as far as what I would say. And you guys hear me talk now. You watch my videos. There's clearly a very, tight filter over what I'm saying, right? I do a review, a reaction of somebody's video. I never say shit. I never say anything bad about the person. I always take extra pains to craft my reaction to be as uninsulting, unthreatening, and if the person who actually watches the video that I made of them were to watch it, they would feel that I was being fair to them. Really, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just being fair, and the reason for that is all of these multiple filters that I've set up between my brain and my mouth. Right? Whatever. Anyway, there were none of these filters on that night, and I was saying a lot. I began to say a lot of inappropriate things to this kid Jackson and his girlfriend, unfortunately. So I'm out of my mind. I'm just wandering around, right? And I go into the, we're all fucked up, and pills last for a long time. So I wander from the living room into, apparently it was her room, and there was no divider. There's no wall, right? It was just kind of one of those dividers that doesn't go all the way up to the ceiling. And I'm out of my mind, right? So I'm just kind of looking around in her room, and I end up in her closet, rooting around in her closet. And I found a G-string, right? And it was bright purple, neon purple and pink, with this frilly fur around the little triangle, that covers the private parts, or whatever. It's fur G-string, right? And I grab the G-string and I throw it into the living room. And this kid Jackson and his girlfriend are in there making out, saying how much they love each other, and just being a couple on ecstasy, right? Which is whatever. Ecstasy makes you makes everything feel really good. And if you're with a partner or something, then you're going to be very emotional and very sensitive to physical touch. So it's a very intimate moment. And then all of a sudden comes flying over the divider this girl's G-string, right? Really pretty G-string. And this kid and my other friend, what did I name my other friend? Scooby. And me, Scooby, and the crazy kid, I don't know, let's give him a name. I don't know, Bebop. Let's call him Bebop, right? Me, Scooby, and Bebop were in the other room. They see me throw it over, and they look at each other, and they're oh fuck, they know Jackson's gonna come and probably whoop my ass, right? So they this kid Jackson comes into the room, actually this, and my friend Scooby's it's cool, man, don't worry about it, he's fucked up, it's all good, we're watching him, we'll make sure it doesn't happen again, it's all good. And this guy Jackson's hey man, I could tell steam coming out of his ears, and he's look bro, I'm here with my girlfriend, make sure he behaves, because this is not appropriate. He didn't say it like that. He basically said I'm gonna whoop this guy's ass if he does anything else like that. So then I'm still out of my mind. I'm a little pet, right? I'm like a puppy that doesn't know that he shouldn't take a shit in the house, running around, jumping on things, just out of my mind. And I found this aerosol spray. The scented aerosol sprays that you spray in the bathroom to take a shit or something. So I found one of those, and I walk up to this kid Bebop, and I just spray him in the face. He's sitting on the bed, and I just spray him on the face, and he doesn't say anything. He just goes like this, right? And I'm I look at my friend Scooby, and my friend Scooby's what the fuck are you doing, dude? Stop, just stop. It's not cool. And I'm oh shit, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing to this fucking kid Bebop, right? He maintained his composure, obviously. This kid knows what it's like to be off his fucking, off his tits, right? I put the aerosol can down, and I'm okay, I've had enough of these guys, right? And I go into the other room. And I don't know if these things happen exactly one after another, because I remember us staying at this chick's house for a good couple hours. We definitely chilled her for a couple hours, right? And again, this was fucking almost 20 years ago, so I'm remembering the high points of the story at this point. But anyway, I'm okay, I'm done with these guys, right? They're making me feel weird. So I go sit on the couch, and this kid Jackson, he's sitting on the couch, and this kid had fucking Popeye forearms. We call him Popeye sometimes, because his forearms were actually out to here, and they were hairy, like Popeye's, and not really defined. Couldn't see any veins. They were just gigantic, like huge Popeye forearms. The kid was not fat at all. The kid was just freakishly strong. Anyway, I go and I sit down next to them, and he's sitting on the couch like this, right? His girlfriend is straddling him, right? And she's like, oh my God, Jackson, I fucking love you so much. And he's like, I fucking love you too. And they're like kissing and making out. And I'm just like watching this, and I'm literally sitting like this far away from them. It wasn't particularly inappropriate because, you know, I don't know, whatever. And Bebop and this kid Scooby, right? They like come into the other room, I think just to keep an eye on me, make sure I wasn't gonna like do anything retarded. So I look over, and this girl's and anyway, whatever. Anyway, I look over and I look at this girl's chest, right? I don't know, she had a great body, whatever. This kid Jackson always had good taste in girls. Anyway, I look at her chest and I'm like, let's call her fucking, I don't know, make up a name for her. Let's call her fucking, I don't know, Courtney, whatever. I'm like, damn, Courtney, your nipples are fucking hard as fuck right now. And like, they both just look at me like, did you actually just say that? Like, it was like, they looked at me and they were like, she was like, do you know who my boyfriend is? And this kid Jackson was like, do you know right now I could like actually kill you if I wanted to? And did you actually just say that after like throwing these like pink frilly underwear into this room? And my friend Scooby, he like grabs me, he like says to this kid Jax, he's like, hey man, like we're gonna leave. We're just gonna leave, okay? Like, he's out of control. We're gonna go outside, we're gonna go in the car, we're gonna smoke a bowl. So we go, and then anyway, whatever, the night progresses, and I think we went back to my friend, what I call him, Scooby. We went back to Scooby's house. We left Jackson and his girlfriend there, and like me, like the three of us, we like go back to Scooby's house and smoke bowls, play video games, end the night there. So the next day, right? The next day, I was so sick, right? So sick. And I'm not sure if it was, I think it was this time that we tripped, right? I ended up patching things up with Jackson, right? Like, we got to be, I don't want to say we got to be good friends, because he and I, we were friends. I liked hanging out with him. I would love to see him, right? I'd give him the fucking biggest hug in the world if I saw him right now. But we were both of us were mainly closer to Scooby, right? He was closer to Scooby, I was closer to Scooby. And we were never, like, we would hang out if neither of us could hang out with the other people in our group. We always had fun. It was never like we didn't, not like we didn't like each other or anything. I looked up to him a lot because, like, he was, I don't know, I really respected back in the day people who were tough, physically tough, who could actually whoop somebody's ass in a fight if they had to. And this kid was, like, one of the toughest kids in the neighborhood, right? Like, I actually don't think I ever met anybody, well, whatever, I met other people who I heard were, like, tougher. But strangely enough, and I'll maybe talk more about this like particular friend group in another video, but this friend group was full of like tough, badass kids who could whoop some ass if they had to. And then I was there, like the like little puppy who they let hang out with them for some reason. I don't even really know why. But anyway, the next day, woke up so sick, like about to die sick. Or fine, not really, but like coughing, sore throat, and our jaws hurt so bad. Like when you take ecstasy, you grind your teeth. You're like, right? Because I don't know if it just makes your jaw go like that. I think it's partially you grind your teeth, and then because everything feels so good on ecstasy, when you like grind your teeth like that, you feel the sensation, and it feels really good, right? It's only the next day where you realize like your like gums were like rubbing up against each other for hours at a time, and your jaw is moving into positions that it normally doesn't move into. Like, who the fuck goes like that ever, really, you know? And meanwhile, you do it for like 4 hours at a time when you're on ecstasy. It's awful. So anyway, like, could barely talk, sore throat, dehydrated, and the four of us end up going out for breakfast at Jack in the Box. So we go to Jack in the Box, and we're all like out of our minds. And we're like, you know, we smoke a bowl, hit the bong, go to Jack in the Box. We're like cracking up because we all felt awful, all of us. Like the pills affected all of us the same way. And we're like cracking up, like, oh, all of our jaws hurt, like, we're just in a lot of pain, everybody. So anyway, we're in a lot of pain. It was kind of funny at the time. And so eventually it's time to part ways. And I go home, I face the music, and I'm like fucking head swollen. Like, parents are super pissed. And I was like, okay, no problem. You're mad at me, fine. I'm grounded, punish me, do whatever you want. Like, leave me alone, I'm going to bed. Really, honestly, is kind of what I did. And that's what I did. And they're like, what's wrong with him? Like, he doesn't seem normal, I think. Anyway, I got grounded for a very long time after that. I was sick for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I just felt like shit. And I almost like actually got my ass beat by this kid Jackson. Eventually managed to patch things up with him, and fortunately, I was, I don't know, I think I was very like innocent back then. Innocent in terms of like, the stuff that I did when I was rolling with them. It was not to like, I wasn't like throwing the underwear in his face and be like, yeah, motherfucker, that's right. Like fucking, I'm gonna do this and like, fuck you. Like, go ahead, do your worst. It wasn't like that at all. It was like me just being out of my mind, fucking throwing shit around because I didn't know any better. Really, I actually didn't know any better. And I think he like understood that and was more inclined to be understanding because the bond in this friend group was especially strong. I'm not really sure if it was because of Scooby specifically, because this kid Scooby had a lot of health issues and took everything kind of, I don't want to say took everything personally, just a very deep kid. And we all kind of had a very like strong bond with him that kind of like brought the whole group together. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, bottom line is like I got really sick, almost got my ass beat, and what was the other one? Got grounded for like a month or two afterwards. And then after that, I was like, okay, like maybe karma's a thing. Maybe all of this actually, because I mean, if you think about it, all of it really did happen because I stole $100 from this girl. If I hadn't stolen that $100, I wouldn't have had that experience. Of course, wouldn't have had that experience and wouldn't have experienced all that pain. Now, looking back on it, I'm happy that I did it because now I have a hilarious story to tell, and I have some additional funny memories, and it enabled me, I think, to get closer with these guys, which, these are like my best friends through like the majority of high school and even a couple years after high school. So it was not like it was all negative, right? So is it fair for me to say I believe in karma? I did this bad thing to this person and these bad things happened to me. Maybe upon closer examination, that's not exactly how I feel about it. But let's just take a more simplified approach and say that there's a cost to everything, right? If you do something bad to somebody, you will experience some negative effects, right? In this case, whatever. This is what I linked up in my like 17-year-old mind. Anyway, what do you guys think about that story? Have you ever taken ecstasy? Tell me, I would like to know. Have you ever done anything under the influence of mind-altering substances that you later regretted? Like I did shortly after doing this. Let me know. Leave me a comment. Do you guys want to see more drug stories? Do you want to see more Storytime stories from back in the day? I would like to know. Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace. Also, go check me out on Patreon. Give me that $10, yo.